What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I took a survey on YouTube on my community tab with a community post the other day, and I said, please tell me, weigh in, what was your most complimented fragrances for summer 2024? And there was a lot of answers, so many, more than I thought, that got a lot of multiple mentions that we're doing 20. I was planning on doing 10, but it's 19 that I have, one that I don't have that was mentioned a ton. We'll start with the one that I don't have. We'll put it at the bottom on screen when the time comes. But according to you guys, these are what got you the most compliments this summer that we're currently just ending. And a lot of these really made me smile. Some I was surprised to see. But a lot of my personal favorites to wear in the summertime, regardless of getting a compliment. So some of these made me smile. I was really happy to see that they were mentioned so much that I get to feature them and talk about them. So let's get into it. According to you guys, these are the top 20 most complimented fragrances of summer 2024. Stay tuned. Starting with the one that I don't have that got a ton of mentions, Louis Vuitton Imagination. I know it's a personal favorite for a lot of people. Surprisingly for a lot of people, I'm not a big fan. I don't dislike the fragrance. I prefer Afternoon Swim and Pacific Chill. When it comes to their super freshies is what I would like to call them, the very, very fresh ones. Now, I know Imagination's a deeper fragrance as far as depth and complexity versus something like Afternoon Swim, but I just like the simplicity of that just mega watery, fresh, musky orange smell. And it's just something about Afternoon Swim that I think is special. And Pacific Chill, I actually have a bottle of. I love it so much that an apricot, citron, fruity, citrus, watery, tropical fragrance. Big fan. But Imagination, there was no surprise there for me because I know that's a popular, dare I say the most popular Louis Vuitton fragrance among you guys in the fragrance community. So to hear it get some compliments and a lot of wear from you guys was no surprise for me. Unfortunately, I don't own it, but I have smelled it, and I can agree, yeah, it smells really good. I like Afternoon Swim Pacific Chill more. It's a personal preference thing, but I get it. Next, this is one that, honestly, I don't think I wore but maybe one time this summer myself. We're talking Dior Sport 2021 or 2022, depending on how you want to look at it. It was intended to come out in 2021. Kind of came out beginning of 22, if I remember correctly. But very much in the same vein of Dior Homme 2020 with the woody notes, the woody base. But believe it or not, for being the sport flanker, it's the deeper fragrance. You get a little bit of a smoky olibanum. I do get a little bit of the incense here. It's got a bit more spice. It's a touch sweeter. The citrus comes through a bit more, whereas Dior Homme 2020 is very straightforward, soft, sensual, woody aromatic. I think this is a deeper fragrance. It's funny to think that you would think the sport flanker would be the more simplistic take. I think this is the better of the two because they do smell very similar, but this one's a little bit deeper. I think you get more out of the profile. Both perform really well as far as this and Dior Homme 2020. It getting compliments, not surprised. Any fragrance can get you compliments. It's a individual case-by-case basis. Every time you wear anything, no matter who you're going to be around in your setting, you never know. Something that may strike you as something you just randomly threw on to run to CVS to grab something, and you get a compliment while you're at CVS, and you're like, really, this fragrance? It's Nautica Voyage Heritage. You never know what it's going to be. So, one of the most complimented of summer 2024, according to you guys, Dior Homme Sport. This next one, I thought it was great to see that a lot of people are spending time with it. I personally think it's ideal for spring, but absolutely works great in the summer as well, because it is based around coconut, for God's sakes. But the newest release, Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Beau Paradise Garden. Hey, I'm with it. The only thing that comes across somewhat natural to me in this fragrance is the ginger. I do get that realistic, cutting some ginger to cook with type of smell. Everything else, chemically synthetic. All three of the fragrances available in this line that are currently available at the recording of this. I know there's rumors of an absolute flanker that, fingers crossed, please give me that. I love this line. That's why it made me happy to see this one get a lot of love in the survey, that it's getting a lot of love for people that are wearing it. Because if you like coconut, you like tropical, you'll probably like this. If you don't mind an unnatural smell, the designer synthetic stuff that we speak of here online, This is a good one. I think it was a good release. It was not the Le Beau flanker I expected. I was anticipating Le Beau Elixir to jump on the trend, which I still think at some point we will get. Maybe if this Absolu flanker is a real thing, maybe the follow-up to that will be Elixir. I think inevitably we'll get one because Le Male Elixir was such a hit for Jean-Paul Gaultier. But this was a good release. I think this is one of the best designer releases of the year. Above average performance, not a monster. It's not as strong as Le Beau Le Parfum, I find. It's a little bit less tropical. It's much greener overall. Paradise Garden being in the name. It has a little bit more of an earthy green tinge, but still has that tropical, citric, juicy, aquatic feel to it. Just a really good fragrance. It's Le Beau Paradise Garden. Tried and true, affordable for summer. This got a lot of mentions. Missoni Wave, basically affordable Chanel Allure Sport is how you can look at it. Citrus, aquatic, a little bit of a creamy sweet floral, this vanilla orchid. You get some orange. Like it's got not necessarily some depth to it, but a lot of appeal. It's a very appealing fragrance. Smells great, magnetic cap, really good atomizers, decent performance. I get 6 to 7 hours of longevity personally. This is a beautiful fragrance, not just for the summertime. I do think it's ideal in the warmer weather, but I think you can rock this one year round. If it's something that speaks to you, that you enjoy wearing, wear this in the winter if you really want to, but not surprised here as well that this has been getting some compliments for people because it's very attractive. Getting this Missoni Wave. You know, for every 10 people that say this is overhyped and smells terrible, there's 100 people that say it's amazing, they swear by it, and it gets tons of compliments. And this is a prime example. This got mentioned a lot. Mancera's Cedrat Boise. This is not an ideal summertime fragrance. This is an ideal anytime fragrance. So, of course, it works in the summer for a lot of people. Citrus, juicy lemon, sharp lemon, fruitiness, dry woods, a touch of leather. I don't get much leather here, but I do get a little bit. I've always called it a wicker basket full of fruits because it's got that dry woody nuance with all this variety of fruitiness and citruses. Super easy to like in my opinion. Above average performance, not a beast, not weak in my experience, and high compliment factor indeed. Year round, I think this can be your signature scent. It's one of the best bang for your buck entry level niche fragrances money can buy. You can typically find it around 65 to 75 bucks for this 4-ounce bottle. This is some good stuff. Again, not surprised to see this one either. Mancera Cedrat Boise. Relative newcomer hype beast this year. This stuff really hit the ground running with hype. I describe it as watermelon Invictus because it's got this watermelon Jolly Rancher smell to it, this artificial candy watermelon. It is Dumont's Nitro Red. Hype beast and a half right here. Great performance. Fun and playful. Nothing serious here. Super easy to like. Definitely a compliment puller. Again, this is another one that was not a surprise to see because it is good for the warm weather, just like Hawas is, just like Invictus is. It falls into that same family, but I actually prefer this to Hawas and to the original Invictus. It's something about the way that watermelon fruitiness comes across that just adds that little something extra to an already really good sweet aquatic profile. And again, like I said, cheap, performs great. Dumont Nitro Red. This got a lot of mentions and it just warmed my heart because it's one of my favorite summer fragrances too. My wife loves when I wear this one and it's polarizing. It gets just as much heat as it does love. It's 1 million Parfum from Paco Rabanne. Not one everybody thinks for the summertime, but it does have a little bit of a sunscreen smell to it. While being a pretty dense, sweet fragrance, it actually works well in the high heat, surprisingly. The tuberose solar note combination does give a little bit of a sunscreen smell. You get that bubblegum sweetness. It's not loaded with spice or anything. Just a playful take. Great performer as well. Again, it's got a thickness to the aroma, so you wouldn't think it'd be great for high heat, but it manages to work. And boy, it definitely pulls some compliments for me personally. So not surprised to see it, just really happy to see it get mentioned so much. Paco Rabanne, 1 million Parfum. Now, this is one that made me proud of my audience and my subscribers. This one made me proud because it's known for cooler weather. And I've advocated you can wear this anytime. I've most famously liked to mention how when we lived in Colorado, I used to wear it on hikes in the summer. It's a go-to. You can wear this anytime. No, it's not weak. Anybody that tells you this fragrance is weak is going nose blind. Don't you let them tell you otherwise. Dior Sauvage Parfum, my big 200 ml bottle. I was joyfully surprised to see this get mentioned so much, that it's not just me that thinks this works great in the summertime. Yeah, it's a little sweeter, it's smokier and resinous, it's a little warmer, smoother, heavier. It doesn't have all the freshness of Sauvage EDT or even the EDP. It's the best Sauvage to me, by the way. It's still my favorite. I'm so glad it's the one I have the 200 ml of. We're going to give a little quick spritz on the hand so I can sniff on it. I go nose blind pretty quickly to this one, and then after a little while, my nose comes back to life with it. The receptors allow me to smell it again. I get phenomenal performance out of this one. Even though they don't list the ambroxan, you do smell it. It's clearly there. It's not spicy like the EDP or the Elixir, but it does have a lot of similarity to the EDT and EDP. You can tell it's a true flanker, just smoother, more refined. It's a well-rounded twist, and yes, it damn sure will pull some compliments in my experience. And like I said, I'm one that advocates you can rock this in the summer, no problem. So it made me so happy to see others are doing the same thing. And I guess you can consider getting compliments being a great success for the choice. So kudos to you guys. Dior Sauvage Parfum. No surprises here. Rasasi Hawas. I totally anticipated seeing this mentioned a bunch of times. Surprisingly, didn't see Hawas Ice. I don't recall seeing it even one time, which I prefer Hawas Ice these days. So I was surprised not to see any mention of Hawas Ice, but people are still rocking the hell out of Hawas. It's damn good. Look, it's a spicier Invictus is the way I've always looked at it. I don't relate it to Invictus Aqua as much as a lot of others do. It smells like that bubblegum aquatic original Invictus with some added cinnamon and cardamom. You got a plum fruitiness here. It's got its differences, you know, because everybody's like, oh, Hawas came out first. Yeah, because y'all are talking about Aqua 2016. Invictus came out 2013. This came out 2015. So I think it smells more like the original. If you think it smells like Aqua, not saying you're wrong, not saying I'm right, just saying I disagree. But it smells like that family, because Aqua, regular Invictus, same DNA, right? Oh, it's still good stuff. You know, I haven't worn it in a little while myself. Maybe it's time to throw it back in the rotation. But I can say in my experience, I don't need to do more than 4 sprays to fill a room. And I have gotten my share of compliments. I mean, there's a little bit of a dent in there. I have spent some time with it, right? So love the cap, too. Always have. I think these are good bang for your buck fragrances when it comes to the Hawas line, including the newest one, Hawas Black. Just doesn't smell anything like this. I wanted some of this DNA in there, but no surprises here. Of course, it got mentioned a bunch. Rasasi Hawas. Another one, zero surprises. People love to wear this one. It's still great. After all the years of the hype on this one, people are still rocking Dylan Blue. People are still pulling compliments with Dylan Blue, regardless of time of year. This is, if you don't mind modern synthetic blues, signature scent worthy stuff. You can wear this anytime for anything, and it works. It's not great in any one situation. It's not great in any one season, but it's very good in all of the above. Aquatic, citrus, a little smoky, ambery. You have a shower gel feel from some ambroxan, and a little spicy touch of woods. There's a lot of stuff going on in this fragrance. It's quite busy. It's also easy to go nose blind to. This infamously was the one fragrance that I always use an example that sometimes you got to give a fragrance multiple chances to grow on you. I thought this was a terrible fragrance the first couple of times I smelled it. The first handful of times I smelled it, like 4, 5, 6 times, I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I came around to it. Next thing you know, I'm buying a bottle. I've got a pretty good sized dent in my bottle. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It depends on how the light's coming through. Juice level's right around here. Because I don't wear it as much as I used to, but infamously as well, have gone nose blind to it. Hell, back when I used to work at Jaguar Land Rover, I got many compliments with this where I couldn't even smell the damn thing anymore. I thought it wore out. And we're talking 6, 7, 8, 9 hours into my shift. Get a compliment from a customer, a coworker, somebody, and yeah, it's definitely an all-time great when it comes to pulling compliments for people. So again, no surprises here. Versace Dylan Bleu. Now, a few versions of this fragrance were mentioned, but the one that got mentioned the most was the original Armaf Club de Nuit Intense Man, the Eau de Toilette. I wore this week, and my wife was all over me for this one, so I get it. And it cracks me up every time how much more attention this gets than what it's similar to. Actual Creed Aventus. Out in the air, this is that smoky magic. It's just something so charismatic and attractive about this profile out in the up close. Smells like cheap synthetic, just mediocrity. It does. When you smell it up close like this, like I'm doing with Sauvage Parfum, which is magnificence up close even, this smells super cheap. Lemon pledge, all those different things. But boy, you get the wafts. The sillage. You smell it out in the air, magic. Like I've said for years, smoky magic. This is beautiful stuff out in the air. All-time great compliment getter since it came out. Hype is real, people, still to this day. Phenomenal at pulling compliments, especially according to you guys this summer. Club de Nuit Intense Man. Now, just like with Sauvage Parfum, I was surprised to see this one get mentioned so much for the summertime as pulling compliments, because I think it works great in the summertime again as well, just like the Sauvage Parfum. Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Now, other versions, especially the EDP, did get mentioned, but surprisingly, this got the most, just by a few mentions. Just by a few mentions over the Eau de Parfum, but this was the Bleu de Chanel mentioned the most. Could give a little soft clap for you guys, because y'all, we relate to one another. We really do when it comes to how we like to wear these fragrances. Almost like I influence you guys a little bit to give certain things a chance in situations you typically wouldn't, or maybe others tell you maybe aren't the best. It's still fresh. Yeah, it's a warm, woody fragrance at its core. It's not ideal for the summer. Sauvage Parfum is not ideal for the summer, but they're not overbearing in high heat humidity. Same goes here. When I bought this, I worked in Houston. I lived in Houston, worked in Houston, and any of you that are around Houston, you know that's some of the hottest summers. I bought this in the summer and was wearing it immediately when I got it. It works. It works. It's, to me, the greatest blue when it comes to year-round versatility. It's this. I was so happy to see it get mentioned more than the EDP. I was surprised it got mentioned more than the EDP. I figured the EDP would have took that crown here, because EDP is damn good, gotta say. But according to you guys, according to me too, one of the most complimented for this year, because I did wear it a few times myself, Bleu de Chanel Parfum. No surprises here as well. It is a fun tropical fragrance. Zaharoff Signature CoCoLoCo. Got a lot of mentions. I get it. Fresh bowl of fruits, and it's very vibrant and bright. The cardamom here really lifts the profile. And then you have this like meat, flesh of the coconut type of smell. It's not a coconut water. It's not a milky, creamy coconut. It's not a sunscreen coconut. It's like literally like cutting into a chunk of coconut to eat, which I'm not a big coconut fan as far as actual coconut. Like coconut shrimp, stuff like that, coconut cake. I don't like stuff like that. So I don't like the texture of coconut. But the aroma and the juice that can be created from it, I do like. I like coconut water. I like coconut milk. I like coconut in fragrances. And this is a damn good coconut fragrance. It is so good. A little bit of sweetness, this vanillic sweetness, musky, ambery tone as it dries down. There's a little bit of florals and blonde woods here. It develops. It's actually kind of thick for the high heat, but as we've talked about with a few of these other ones, doesn't mean it ain't great for the high heat. This is a fun summertime fragrance. Represents Carnival in Rio de Janeiro. Some great storytelling even on the bottle. For those of you that are familiar with CoCoLoCo, and yeah, I agree. No surprises here. Great compliment getter for the summer. Zaharoff Signature CoCoLoCo. Another one where a few versions got mentioned. Surprised this one got mentioned the most, and I think it's because it's the new kid in town for the line that people are wearing it more. So naturally, it's got more opportunity to get compliments for people. We're talking Invictus Parfum. It's the new kid on the block, right? Yes, Aqua got re-released for Aqua 2024, and that did get mentioned only, I think, once or twice. Platinum got mentioned more than Aqua. And I didn't really see any other ones. But surprisingly, Parfum got, like close to 2 handfuls of mentions, like 6, 7, 8, you know, something like that. It was like 7 or 8 mentions, enough to make the list, you know. Yeah, the highlight reel fragrance, right? It encompasses everything. Salty, aquatic, sweet, a little bit of earthiness with this dark soap accord, this black soap note that they added. It's a damn good release. It's one of the best designer releases of 2024 in my personal opinion. The surprise isn't that people are getting compliments. I'm not surprised by that. I was surprised on how much it got mentioned. Not that it's a bad thing. Not that I think it didn't deserve to be there. It was totally up to you guys what was going to be in this video. According to you guys, for summer 2024, it was one of the most complimented. Another one, no surprises. For the money, pretty hard to beat if you like the Tiger DNA. Afnan's Turathi Blue, spicy grapefruit, warm woods, amber, ambroxan type of smell. Definitely one of the better openings. For the money, I mean, you can't go wrong with most of the Tiger-like fragrances. This one has had, you know, the longevity of hype over a lot of the others. So, and for the money in the, you know, $30 range, it's pretty hard to beat. I get it. I totally understand why it got so many mentions. I was not surprised to see this one on here, obviously. If you want one of the better juicy citrus openings, I mean, it really is damn good. Highly attractive, easy to like fragrance, and this one's got pretty good performance. No two ways about it. Zero shock here. Of course you guys are wearing it. Of course you guys are getting compliments. Of course you guys mentioned it a bunch of times because it deserves to be on the list, because it'll pull compliments. It just works. Afnan's Turathi Blue. This one was a little all over the place. The original got the most mentions, just by a little. The 2024 EDP version got 1 mention. It might have even been 2. The Lights flanker and the Parfum flanker got a few mentions. I was happy to see it because I like all of them, personally. We're talking Acqua di Gio Profondo. But the original got more mentions than the others. So you guys love Profondo and everything Profondo that's come out since the original. And it got, if you were to total all the different variations, this was one of the word Profondo was one of the most typed words in those, I think, 155 comments. The word Profondo got typed a lot across the variations. This one just edged out, I think, what was the second most mentioned? Was it Lights? I think it might have been Light. It was either Lights or Parfum. Got mentioned a little bit. I think it was like literally one mention more for this, and that's why it's being featured. So, super blue aquatic, synthetic, citrus. This green mandarin smell, a little bit of a mineral note going forward. It's a touch green. Yeah, it's good stuff. Up close, very synthetic. Out in the air, very attractive. One of the better aquatics out in the air, your actual sillage. This is one of the better aquatics that you can wear for the summertime. It's got real performance. It'll reach out and grab people. It's just easy to like. If Acqua di Gio was a brand new fragrance, this probably would have been the first release. I've said it before. So, no surprises here. Acqua di Gio Profondo. Another one that's no surprises and up close is terrible. It's way too much. It's way too pungent up close. But out in the air, Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense will pull some compliments. This is magic out in the air. A true intensive twist on the original profile. See, up close, it's a lot. It's pretty strong. Warm amber wood and salt water. But man, out in the air, all-time great for pulling compliments in the summer, in my opinion, because this sillage lingers. This stuff trails hardcore. Serious sillage trail. Your scent trail is immense with this one. And look, it's easy to go nose blind too. Some of you remember, man, I maybe get 2 hours if I'm lucky. I don't know what he's talking about with this strength. It overwhelmed your nose, my man. I'm telling you, this stuff is notorious for it. It's damn good fragrance. Highly recommended on this channel. Happy to see it. Not surprised to see it. Of course, it's getting you guys compliments. Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense. Now, I only have a decant. This was one of the most mentioned fragrances. Hype Monster and a Half, another one of the few niche fragrances that made the list. We're talking Sospiro Vibrato. Got my Scent Door 5 ml right here. There you go. Which I've only sprayed it like 2 or 3 times. It's not like I've sprayed much out of it, but I have so much that smells of this profile, Kajal 3, all the different Tigar, Turathi Blue, and all the things that smell like Tigar. Now, granted, this stands on its own because it's a much fruitier fragrance overall, but it is good stuff. It's notorious for being a massive compliment getter, one of the modern greats. If you just get feedback from people that are rocking it, which is what I chose to do here, I was not even slightly surprised. I think this and Louis Vuitton Imagination were the two most mentioned. Yeah. Again, no surprises here. You want to pull a compliment or two? Get you a decant or a small sample of Vibrato and try it out. Make sure you like it. Don't buy it solely based on other people getting compliments, because that's just wild. You don't know if you're going to get a compliment. There's no guarantees in performance or compliments. But the guarantee you need to find out is, do I like how this smells when I wear it? So get a sample, because if you can check that box, then you can, go get a bottle and do your thing as long as you enjoy it, because you got to live in that sillage, so make sure you're going to love it. And it's pretty hard not to love this fragrance, as will everybody around you. Sospiro Vibrato. So it just goes to show some things are timeless. They always work, and people still rock them no matter how much time passes. Versace Pour Homme is still phenomenal for the summer. People still love this fragrance. People still rebuy this fragrance. Citrus, soapy white floral, a bit of neroli, clean musk. One of the most safe and inoffensive men's fragrances money has ever been able to buy. Not just in I think it came out in like 2008, something like that, in the late 2000s. And it has not slowed down. Are we ready to give Versace Pour Homme its flowers yet? For being one of the greatest men's fragrances of all time. Are we ready to do that, finally? I was not shocked. I was happy to see it still getting love like that, because I have always said this is the king of the office, not Prada L'Homme. I think this is even safer, even more inoffensive, works even better in situations where it may be a little frowned upon to wear fragrance in your office setting. It depends on your profession, what your HR regulations are, how much of a stickler head of HR is, how sensitive your coworkers' noses are and stuff. This is going to be one of the safest plays money can buy, in my experience, and in my personal opinion. That's why I think it's the true king of the office. Inoffensive and safe is always the route to go to be the king of the office, because the more daring you get, the more stronger it is, the more risk you're taking with your office setting. So, to me, this is one of the greats, and it deserves its flowers. I'm happy to see you guys are still rocking it. I'm happy to see you guys are still getting compliments with it. Bravo, Versace, for this release. Versace Pour Homme. Last but not least, I can agree just wholeheartedly and completely. One of the greatest summertime compliment getters ever created, sadly discontinued. And they made a flanker to it. Maybe it's time to make another flanker. Absolu Parfum, maybe? Acqua di Gio Absolu. This got a lot of mentions. This was up there with Vibrato and Imagination for the most mentions. I think that was the top 3, actually. People love this fragrance. It's crazy to think the fragrance community caught on to loving this, but the masses apparently didn't, because this smells like if you took Profumo, which is notable as being the best for a lot of people, take the incense away and add fruity notes. Labdanum, patchouli, marine notes, all the same stuff here. And obviously you take the green away. You don't need the rosemary from Profumo, but very similar. It's basically like the fresh fruity take on Profumo. This is awesome, and it's so strong. Such a great performer. It's a bona fide beast. You don't need a lot of sprays. I wore it a few weeks back when I took my Louisiana trip. It is so good. It is so, so good. The least surprising to get all of the votes, all of the mentions, and for you guys, and for me, all of the compliments. Yeah, it smells great. It's mind-blowing to think it ever got discontinued, right? It comes down to sales numbers. If the damn thing's not selling worldwide, eventually they're going to stop filling bottles and discontinue it. And that's clearly what happened. Just because we love it, and people around us love to smell it and tell us we smell good, doesn't mean they sold tons of bottles of it, unfortunately. So a great has fallen when this got discontinued. One of the greatest compliment getters in modern summertime history. Still going strong in 2024, according to you guys and according to me. Giorgio Armani's Acqua di Gio Absolu. Well, I had a blast with that. Thank you guys that weighed in and voted. Could have did 25, really. Like, I was going to do 10, and I was like, there's way more stuff getting a lot of mentions. I can't just do 10, and I got to 15. I was like, shit, I could easily do 20 here. It's going to be a longer video, but screw it. We're doing 20. So thank you guys for weighing in. I'm glad to hear you getting some joy out of your fragrances, because let's call it what it is. When you get a compliment from your fragrance, it makes you smile. It makes you happy. It makes you like the fragrance more. It is what it is. I'm a big advocate for, you got to like the damn thing. The most important thing is your wearing experience, not somebody else telling you smell good. But I'm not going to sit here and act like somebody telling you smell good doesn't come across as really nice and make your day a little bit better, doesn't? Who doesn't like a nice compliment? And it's an opportunity to talk about your fragrance. And being big time into fragrances like us, we love an opportunity to talk about our fragrance, right? So thank you guys once again for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications before you leave. I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one.